corporations save billions by awarding stock options rather than cash to executives. It's not something that Berkshire does, but companies are able to write it off their taxes. I'm wondering if companies should be allowed to do this.
Well, if it's a form of compensation and the employee pays tax on the compensation, it's not unreasonable that the company itself should get a deduction for amount comparable to what the employee reports.
So you think the way it's working right now is completely fair?
Well, I think from a taxation standpoint, that if it's, as long as it's symmetrical, I think it's fair.
You've talked a lot, especially in recent weeks, about boards and said that, look, you've been on 19 boards over 55 years and they just don't vote against compensation packages, that it's like belching at the dinner table, you said. But I wonder, you also talk about the income divide and how concerned you are about that. Is that adding to income inequality in this country?
Well, it's probably adding a small amount, but it's not the big reason. I mean, executive compensation is an important item, but if you're talking about 315 million people and the bottom 20% living on 22,000 or so less per family, it's not a big factor in that.
When we sat down a few weeks ago and talked about minimum wage in this country, you said you're unsure whether federal minimum wage should be raised, but you really would like a closer look at raising the earned income tax credit. I wonder, though, wouldn't that fall on the federal government and state governments, and can they afford it right now?
Well, it would fall on the federal government, and it would be a form of taxation relief or a distribution, in effect, to people at the very low end. But I think that's very appropriate in this society, yeah.
Can the federal government afford it at
Sure,
this point?
If it can afford a $600 billion deficit, they probably can afford a $620 billion deficit, but they can get it in other places.